Thank you, Chris. Welcome to Circle Sanctuary's Yuletide Spirits Full Moon Circle. I'm Reverend Judith, and I'll be your guide tonight as we celebrate this December full moon. We're delighted that you have joined us at this sacred time of year, either live tonight or if you're watching later. It's at this December full moon time, as the cold seeps into our bones here in the Northern Hemisphere and the daylight grows short, the dark of night long, we gather around to celebrate how far we've come in this past year and to give thanks for the lessons we have learned. Soon it will be the time of the winter solstice when we celebrate Yule. This is a time of joy and fellowship because we know that after that night, the daylight will slowly grow longer and the world will be reborn in the coming spring. We have some wonderful volunteers with us from our Circle Sanctuary community tonight who will be sharing Yuletide spirit stories and music, and I'll introduce them as we go along. So first, it is now my honor and pleasure to introduce our High Priestess and Senior Minister, Reverend Selena Fox.
Thank you, Judith, and good Yuletide! Let us connect with the power of the full moon time, that bright, glowing orb that we celebrate every month, and let us experience ourselves as part of a great circle of celebration around the planet on this full moon time night. Yuletide, full moon, celebration. Yuletide, full moon, illumination. Yuletide, full moon, meditation. Yuletide, full moon, transformation. And may we all, not only tonight at this full moon time that we call the Yuletide Spirits full moon, but throughout the Yuletide season for all of us here in the Northern Hemisphere that are celebrating winter solstice, and a shout out to all in the Southern Hemisphere that are moving up to summer solstice. Bright blessings to all of us as we move towards solstice time. May our celebrations be merry and bright, not only tonight, but throughout the whole season. So be it.
Marion, would you now please give Circle Sanctuary's announcements?
Sure, Judith. Welcome to Circle Sanctuary's Yuletide Spirits Full Moon Circle. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. We have a few announcements, but remember, you can always check Circle's website for updated information. This Saturday, December 10th, is our Green Faith, Eco-Climate, Justice Activism Zoom call at 11 a.m. Central Time. Join the Green Faith Facebook page to get the link. Circle Sanctuary's Yule Festival is next Saturday, December 17th at Circle from 9:30 to 5:30. During the festival, Selena will be presenting her workshop, Saturnalia Magic and Merriment, both live for attendees and via Zoom for those who are unable to get to the sanctuary that day. Please register at the Circle website. The following Tuesday, December 20th, our longest night celebration will live stream on Circle's YouTube channel at 7 p.m. Central Time. Our next full moon Circle's theme is Befana Night, and will be broadcasting on Thursday night, January 5th, 2023 at 7 p.m. Central Time. If you're interested in contributing and being a part of the cast, please contact Reverend Judith. Make sure to tune into Circle Sanctuary Network podcasts throughout the month. You can find the schedule on Circle's website or on Facebook at CSNP Podcasts, where you can also find recordings of over 800 previous podcasts. Please remember that donations and memberships are very important for the upkeep of our nature preserve and our spiritual outreach. So please check out ways to contribute on Circle Sanctuary's website at circlesanctuary.org. And our 2023 Circle Sanctuary calendar is now available through our online resource shop. This is another way to support Circle and keep track of all of next year's Circle festivals. Thank you, everyone, and welcome again.
Thank you, Maren. I now call on Laura to cast our circle.
Hello, everybody. My name is Laura Gonzalez, and it's my pleasure to be here on this Yuletide full moon with you all to do our virtual circle once again. So first of all, I invite everybody to take some deep breaths in and out at your own rhythm and at your own pace. And as we breathe in, excuse me, the cold air of winter, we call upon the north, the spirits of the earth, the energies of foundation and grounding. We welcome you, north. We welcome you, earth, to give us shelter, prosperity, grounding, and growth. Welcome, earth, so mote it be. And to the east, we take a deep breath in the cold, crisp air of the Midwest, or on the warm earth if you are on the south. We breathe in this air and we welcome it to give us inspiration, ideas, and wisdom. Welcome, air, so mote it be. And to the south, we connect with the energies of fire, the energies of warmth, the energies of passion and movement, of change and dynamic energy. We welcome fire, so mote it be. And to the west, to the waters, to the ice caps, to the oceans, we call for the energy of laughter and joy, of stillness and adaptation. Welcome, water, so mote it be. Open to the cosmos, to the infinity that we know, that we don't know. We call on the blessings of the galaxies and the celestial bodies. And down into the earth, and below its crust, with eons of times and ancestors dwell, and to the spirit that surrounds us and embraces us. We welcome the energies of the cosmos, of the earth, and of spirit. Our magical circle is cast, so mote it be.
Thank you, Laura. I now call on Richard to kindle our moon fire.
I light this candle in the name of the ancient presence, which is, was, and ever shall be, male, female, all-knowing, all-powerful, and present everywhere. And in the names of the four mighty ones, the rulers of the elements, may power and blessing descend in this hour upon this place and those gathered here. So mote it be.
And as we go to gallery view, I invite all of our presenters here this evening to also light candle. And thank each and every one of you for presenting with me tonight at this Yuletide Spirits Full Moon Circle, and welcome to all of you watching. Chris, will you now please give your midwinter song?
So I have a project that I'm working on as time permits. This time of year has always been special to me. It's the month of my birth. It's a cold, and I moved north from a southern clime just to get back to the cold in the wintertime because I really love winter. And I have a goal that somewhere down the road I will adapt lots of the songs of the seasons that were familiar to me growing up in a different faith path to a more pagan related themes. So tonight's I share with you the song. It's based upon the poem by Christine Rossetti, In the Bleak Midwinter, tuned by Gustav Holst. The words are mostly mine. In the bleak midwinter, frosty wind made moan. Earth stood hard as iron, water like a stone. Snow had fallen, snow on snow, snow on snow. In the bleak midwinter, long, long ago. Then the people gathered 'neath the cloudy sky, sharing fears together, fears the light might die. Songs were raised up skyward, calling back the light. On the night of solstice, long, long ago. Today we may know better. The light, it cannot die. Cycle of the seasons, few now question why. Still we come together to seek the light within. On the night of solstice, light is born again.
Thank you, Chris. That was beautiful. Eldridge, I now ask you to present.
Hello, everyone. I'm Reverend Eldridge calling in from Washington, D.C. in the native and ancestral lands of the Piscataway, the Pamunkey, and the Anacostia. And I want to offer this old hymn, just slightly tweaked, but very wonderful for this time of year. I put the words in the chat. It's a brief song. I'll sing it 3 times through, and maybe you can add it into your heart and mind and maybe voice as well. It goes like this. Hail the blessed sun, shining dimly in winter, down from the regions of glory descend. Gathered we ask for thy blessed returning. Follow our yearning, enliven the land. Lo, for a guard the bright stars do attend thee. Come as in old times and lend us thine aid. Hail the blessed sun shining dimly in winter. Come to our hearts where our bright hopes are laid. Hail the blessed sun shining dimly in winter. Down from the regions of glory descend. Gathered we ask for thy blessed returning. Follow our yearning and liven the land. Lo, for a guard the bright stars do attend thee. Come as in old times and lend us thine aid. Hail the blessed sun shining dimly in winter. Come to our hearts where our bright hopes are laid. Hail the blessed sun shining dimly in winter. Down from the regions of glory descend. Gathered we ask for thy blessed returning. Follow our yearning and liven the land. Lo, for a guard the bright stars do attend thee. Come as in old times and lend us thine aid. Hail the blessed sun shining dimly in winter. Come to our hearts where our bright hopes are laid. Blessed be.
Blessed be. Thank you, Aldrich. Nikki, would you please now give your poem?
Hi, everyone. My name's Nikki. I'm going to be reading The Night Before Yuletide, written by C.C. Williford. 'Twas the night before Yuletide, and all through the glen, not a creature was stirring, not a fox, not a hen. A mantle of snow shone brightly that night, as it lay on the ground, reflecting moonlight. The fairies were nestled all snug in their trees, unmindful of flurries and a chilly north breeze. The elves and the gnomes were down in their burrows, sleeping like babes in their soft earthen furrows, when lo, the earth moved with a thunderous quake, causing chairs to fall over and dishes to break. The little folks scrambled to get to their feet, then raced to the river where they usually meet. What happened, they wondered, they questioned, they probed, as they shivered in night clothes, some bare-armed, some robed. What caused the earth's shudder? What caused her to shiver? They all spoke at once as they stood by the river. Then what to their wondering eyes should appear but a shining gold light in the shape of a sphere? It blinked and it twinkled, it winked like an eye. Then it flew straight up and was lost in the sky. Before they could murmur, before they could bustle, there emerged from the crowd with a swish and a rustle a stately old crone with her hand on a cane, resplendent in green and with a white flowing mane. As she passed by them, the old crone's perfume, smelling of meadows and flowers abloom, made each of the fay folk think of the spring, when the earth wakes from slumber and the birds start to sing. My name is Gaia, the old crone proclaimed, in a voice that at once was both wild and tamed. I've come to remind you, for you seem to forget, that Yule is the time of rebirth, and yet I see no hearth fires, hear no music, no bells. The air isn't filled with rich, fragrant smells of baking and roasting and simmering stews, of cider that's mulled or other hot brews. There aren't any children at play in the snow or houses lit up by candles glow. Have you forgotten, my children, the fun of celebrating the rebirth of the sun? She looked at the Fay folk, her eyes going round, as they shuffled their feet and stared at the ground. Then she smiled the smile that brings light to the day. Come, my children, she said, let's play. They gathered the mistletoe, gathered the holly, threw off the drab and drew on the jolly. They lit a big bonfire and they danced and they sang. They brought out the bells and clapped when they rang. They strung on the lights and bows, oh so merry, in colors of cranberry, bayberry, cherry. They built giant snowmen and adorned them with hats, then surrounded them with snowbirds and snowcats and bats. Then just before dawn, at the end of their fest, before they went homeward to seek out their rest, the Fay folk they gathered round their favorite oak tree and welcomed the sun neath the tree's finery. Excuse me. They were just reaching home when it suddenly came. The gold light returned like an arrow shot flame. It lit on the treetop where they could see from afar. The golden-like sphere turned into a star. The old crone just smiled at the beautiful sight. Happy Yuletide, my children, she whispered. Good night. Thank you.
I love that, Nikki. Thank you so much. Maren now has some words for us and a song.
Thank you, Judith. I wrote my Yule song as a love song to the full moon and the glorious sun that reflects upon her face, and as a recognition of the longest night and the winter solstice on December 21st. At this time of year, there are many who believe the god, represented by the weakening sun, dies with the last of the crops as they are brought in after the last harvest of Mabon in September. Moving into Samhain at the end of October, they mourn their dead and remember and celebrate ancestors, deities, and all that have gone before. As the wheel turns through November and into December, it brings us into the time of rest, hibernation, and cold, blustery days as the winter solstice approaches, our daylight hours becoming shorter, and the nights becoming so much longer and darker that we could sometimes believe that it's so dark that the sun could not possibly rise once again. And we wait with the mother, the goddess, as she grows heavy with child from the celebrations of life at Beltane in the springtime, singing songs of belief and celebration, sharing stories of the return of the sun in years past, spreading warmth and joy of hope as we wait with her through that longest and darkest night of the winter solstice for the birth of her son, our returning son, the God reborn. And in the morning, we sing songs of celebration at his return. We stand before you, Holy Mother, shining bright among the stars, patiently waiting through the long night for your son to be reborn. Ancient fires brightly burning as a beacon calling home. Our newborn Sky King comes with the dawning. Hail the mother, hail the son. Deck the halls with evergreens cut from our mighty Yule log, placed against the fire back in the hearth. Light the fires and keep them burning against the worst that Jack Frost brings winter's flowers soon will bloom, warmed by our mother's sun and coaxed along by nature's thrumming song. We stand before you, Holy Mother, shining bright here on the earth, patiently waiting through the long night for our son to be reborn. Sacred fires burning brightly as a beacon calls us home, bathing in her moonlight, basking in his sunlight. Hail the mother, hail the son. Hail the mother, hail the son. Oh, hail the mother, hail the son. Blessed Yuletide, everybody.
That was beautiful, Marin. Thank you so much. Selena is now going to tell us about Yuletide spirits across cultures.
Full moon circle of Yuletide cheer. Yuletide spirits, welcome here. Full moon circle of Yuletide cheer. Yuletide spirits, welcome here. Full moon circle of Yuletide cheer. Yuletide spirits, welcome here. Well, it is Yuletide. Now, some people celebrate Yuletide several days around winter solstice time. Some of us celebrate it for many days and nights, weeks even. And Yuletide is sometimes said to last 12 days. So the song 12 Days of Christmas has some of that woven into the mix. But I think Yuletide and happy holidays are good ways to describe the whole holiday season. And I say holidays because winter solstice time is celebrated by peoples across time and around the world. So Yuletide spirits, what are those? Well, one way to define a Yuletide spirit is what are spiritual forces that get activated at this time? Peace, love, joy, compassion, giving, celebration. So we call these Yuletide spirits into our full moon circle tonight and into this Yuletide season. But Yuletide spirits also can be a term that encompasses a wide variety of what you might call Yuletide characters. Some may be honored as a god or a goddess, or a bit of both, depending on the culture and the era. And I'm going to share with you some Yuletide spirits from around the world and across time. And some of these continue to be honored today. We call forth the Yule Goat. Now, the Yule Goat can take a lot of different forms. This happens to be a Swedish form. In fact, the largest Yule Goat is in Sweden, and it is huge in size. And every year there's some prankster that tries to flambeau it. Sometimes it does make it to Yule, and sometimes it does not. What Yule, the Yule goat is also known as the Yule buck, and many say that this has its origins in Scandinavian and Germanic traditions. In particular, goats were connected with honoring Thor. He had a sun chariot that went across the sky, pulled by two goats. And the tradition of the Yule goat not only are handicrafts and ornaments that are used at this time of year, not only in Scandinavian and other European countries, but some would dress up as a Yule goat and gift people in the local areas. So yes, the Yule goat is a Yuletide gift bringer as well. In Sweden, we have Santa Lucia, Lucina, some call her, and often she is shown as a young girl with a red sash, candles, and a crown on her head, essentially a sun maiden. And for some of us with Swedish ancestry, Santa Lucia's Day or Lucia's Day or Lucina's Day, December 13th, is part of the Yuletide. The old tradition was the oldest girl or woman in the home would go and serve Lucy cakes and some hot beverage to everybody in the household as December 13th dawned. Why December 13th? Well, let's put it this way. The calendars in Europe went through some changes over the centuries, and at one point, December 13th was actually the winter solstice. So whether you see Lucia as a Christian saint, as a sun maiden goddess, or as I do, a combo, I see that Lucina is the Romanized form, the goddess of light and childbirth. She's a great Yuletide spirit to have as part of our Yuletide time. So welcome, Lucia. Now we go from maiden to the mothers, the matrones. Now this is from continental Europe, and these three mothers, it's a triple goddess type that has all of them about the same age. They're mothers of prosperity and abundance. And as Romans and that civilization went across Europe, in particular into Germany, instead of suppressing the native religion, it became enmeshed with it. So you will see three often depicted, three mothers sitting sometimes with fruit or bread in their laps and representing a very old custom of honoring female ancestors at Yuletide. And Roman and Germanic traditions and art all came together. Now, some people celebrate the mothers on Yule at winter solstice eve, the longest night. Others, it is Christmas Eve. So we honor the mothers. Well, we have a sun maiden, we have some mothers, so it's time to bring out the crone. La Befana. In fact, our next full moon circle is Befana's night. Some call it 12th night. It is January 5th, and Befana is sometimes known as the Christmas witch. And while her honoring and lore is rooted in Old Italy. It actually goes back to the ancient Romans as well. And some say that at the end of the Saturnalia period, which began on December 17th, and depending on when during the Roman Republic or Empire you checked in about it, it might be a day and a night, or it might be a week or longer as a celebration. But people would go to the temples at the end of Saturnalia at winter solstice time and connect with a priestess in the form of an old wise woman. I see that Bafana has carried some of that tradition back into holiday celebrations. And pagans today of many ethnicities and places in the world celebrate this Yuletide witch New Year's, calendar New Year's and solar New Year's witch on the 5th of January, as well as solstice. So we honor Bafana the crone. Well, another crone connected with this time of year is sometimes known as Perchta, and that's a form, kind of the shadow form of Frau Holda, but many people know her by a Slavic name, Baba Yaga. Now, Baba Yaga has weirdness and strangeness and fierceness, and I know that she can be protective as well as corrective. So, Baba Yaga, we ask for the bad problems happening in Ukraine, the war. Please help dispel that. We call you as a Yuletide spirit. Let Ukraine be its own land. And I know we need to have Baba Yaga, and there are quite a few Slavic pagans calling on her in her various fierce forms to watch over the troops and the Ukrainians, not only in Ukraine, but other parts of the world. And yes, a shout out to the Russian pagans who have become more silent as the war has raged on. So Baba Yaga, I know you can have quite a temper and can be unpredictable. Bring us peace. We honor Baba Yaga. So another connection with this time of year, and sometimes seen in the forms of spirits, has to do with various other Yule beings. Now in Iceland, there are actually 13 Yule lads or Yule boys, and the 13 days leading up to Christmas, or if you're pagan, solstice, there's a different type of Yule lad that comes. They all have their peculiarities, and if you are interested in that, I invite you to do a deep dive on the internet, research the Yule lads, and enjoy some of the fun that you will learn. So we celebrate the Yule lads of Iceland. Now, many Scandinavian countries have some form of nature spirit, and some say the Yule lads are actually part of that. Gnomes, Nissas, Tomte, there, and of course you've heard of Santa and the elves. Well, part of that has to do with honoring the personified spirits of nature and appeasing them. Yes, Santa gets cookies. Tomta and Nissa, it depends, but it's often porridge or some other treats. So we call on those nature spirits of Yuletide, the Tomta, the Nissa, and all the forms. Yuletide spirits, come and join the fun. Saturnalia. The god Saturn is a god of agriculture and fertility, and some say that Saturn is actually woven into Santa. And I'll share some more about that in a little bit. Saturn was honored on December 17th, and Saturnalia was quite a party time. His partner, Ops, we get the word opulent from her name, was the goddess of abundance and riches. And she too was honored during the Saturnalia, as was a whole host of divinities and spiritual forces. So we call to the Yuletide spirits, although they called them Saturnalia, characters from old Rome into our Yuletide full moon tonight. And of course, Santa. Well, we'll share some more about Santa, but you'll notice some holly in the crown. And in Old England and some other parts of Europe, the tradition of the Holly King, the old year, the old solar year passing, was honored and celebrated. And there are even some carols that talk about the Holly King and the Oak King having a battle. We have actually enacted that at some of our winter solstice celebrations over the years. So to Santa, to the Holly King, to the Oak King, to Grandfather Frost, to other depictions of winter, and we celebrate the fierceness of winter, but also the beauty of winter and wintertime spirit. So what are some other spirits of this time of year? Some say that Odin is a god of winter, and there is a goddess by the name of Hola or Holda or Fraholda, and depending on who you talk with, either Holda and or Odin or Woden would do the wild hunt, would take a chariot across the plains and gather up the spirits of the departed ones as part of the wild hunt. And some of Odin has woven into Santa, and some of this night riding actually goes back to the ancient times when it was a female goddess doing the night sky riding. And so we want to honor Holda and Santa and Odin as night riders. Now, sometimes Santa gets companions. Sometimes those companions are supportive, and sometimes they're an enforcer. We're going to have some more about some of that soon. There's different forms, and we are on St. Nicholas Day right now, and last night was Krampus night. So I want to celebrate these and all the other Yuletide spirits, including an American contribution called the Yuletide Fairy. And actually, it's the Yuletide Fairy that brings gifts to some pagan households at winter solstice time. Yuletide spirits, we celebrate you, we honor you. Come and bring delight to our full moon circle tonight and to our Yuletide season. So be it.
That was a great overview of so many cultural traditions at this time of year, Selena. That is wonderful. It's now Krampus time.
Oh, Krampus time. Oh, Krampus time. No, I'm not going to sing. So why is a Mexican from Mexico going to be talking to you about Krampus, a tradition that couldn't be farther from Mexico? And that is just a wonderful tradition. Before I talk to you about Krampus, I have to rope you in with an anecdote. When I immigrated to this country, I have never, ever seen snow in my life. And what we know in Mexico is that if you are touched by snow, you can get frostbite and your toes are going to fall off and you're going to die. So that's all I knew about winter and snow. And here I am coming to Chicago from tropical Mexico City. So if you are from Chicago, or if you knew about the blizzard of 1999, let me tell you that my very first winter in Chicago was the winter of 1999. And all I had was a hat, a scarf, some gloves, and ankle high boots. And I had to go across the street to go to work. And as I go across the street to go to work and snow got into my shoes, I immediately clocked into work and ran to the bathroom to proceed to have a panic attack because I thought that the snow on my boots was going to give me frostbite. And I thought I was going to die. Obviously, that didn't happen. And what does that have to do with Krampus? About a decade ago or more, I met this wonderful Roma woman who loves Krampus just as much as I do him, just as much as I love him. And she introduced me to this beautiful creature, and I fell in love with him immediately. The figure, the image is so striking and so beautiful to me. And then I am not appropriate around children. So the fact that Krampus take kids away, it was a plus for me. And I thought, this is a magnificent creature, you know? And then there are some other things that are not appropriate to say in this ritual. But so again, why is a Mexican so obsessed with Krampus? Because I continue studying, being the nerd that I am. I went deeper and deeper into learning who is Krampus and why he does what he does. So what I learned is that he is believed to be a pre-Christian figure that comes from the Alpine regions of mostly Germany and Austria. However, some version or some type of Krampus celebration is happening on those areas of the Alpine countries. And for a long, long time, he was just recognized as the spirit of wilderness. And like every other tale or folk tale or fairy tale, if you will, they talk about a cautionary tale, right? So Krampus's cautionary tale was, don't go out in the cold, you might get frostbite. So there's a connection. But obviously afterwards, Christianity takes over and all over the world, and all the believed to be pagan or nature-based customs and spirituality or traditions are adopted, adapted, and rewritten by Christianity. So it wasn't until 15 or 1600s when now they pair him with Saint Nicholas. And now Krampus comes on December 5th to take the naughty children, when Saint Nicholas comes on December 6th to give a reward, a prize and gifts to the good children. And then Krampus became this good cop, bad cop, situation with Saint Nicholas and Krampus. And the people that live on those areas, on those alpine countries, they still didn't have the parades. They just have greeting cards. And if you like Krampus as much as I do, please Google female Krampus. There is a wonderful array of female Krampus cards, and female Krampus, she punishes naughty men. She punishes men who have been misogynistic. She punishes men who have been bad. She punishes politicians, etc. So my very feminist witch heart loves female Krampus, of course. But coming into the 1900s, now the people on those areas, of course, globalization happens, right? And we have now greeting cards with Krampus, and they blow over, right? Everybody likes the greeting cards. And they were not cheery. They were not like, hey, happy Krampustide or whatever. They were scary. They still have Krampus hauling away children and, giving you that Christianized, but still cautionary tale about the wilderness, and mostly about the wilderness within you. So as a witch, as a pagan, and as a minister, what I see in Krampus is what I see on many of the wilderness creatures or gods. The gods of the past become the demons of the present after Christianity. And the gods of the past and the dark gods and goddesses, in my opinion, are always a gateway to do shadow work. And don't stay just with shadow work as a buzzword. Understand that shadow work is going deep within you, and finding those talents and those parts of you that were hidden by society, by the people who raised you, by communities that tell you don't do this or don't act that way or don't show that talent or whatever. So I think we are very blessed in this winter time, in this dark half of the year, to have figures such as Krampus or female Krampus to be a gateway into working on our shadow selves. Later on the 19th centuries and in the 20th and 21st century, now we start seeing the Krampusnacht and the Krampus left, the run. And the run of Krampus is a wonderful parade that happened again on Austria and Germany. And it is a huge holiday, and people line up, and all these men and women and people dressed as Krampus go around scaring you, hitting you with birch and holding chains and making you get scared, Again, even though he's not a demon, he's an ancient god, but it's still that part of the cautionary tale and our fascination with things that scared us. And with naughty things that do the naughty things that we don't allow ourselves to do. So again, a great gateway into our shadow and shadow work. And last but not least, I'm a great advocate for celebrating Krampus, but let's keep Krampus and not hyper cheery it. In the United States, we have seen now people are doing parades, but they are musical and they're whimsical and they're party. That's not Krampus. Krampus is supposed to be scary. So let's keep Krampus scary, and let's keep the celebration, and by the love of the goddess, dress warm. I have learned to dress warm now in the winters here in Chicago. To all of y'all, blessings with Krampus, blessings on your shadow work. And remember, the Krampus sticks around for 2 weeks. So if you haven't been taken yet, be nice. Don't be too naughty. Cheers.
Thanks, Laura. That was really fun. Selena, will you now tell us a little bit more about Santa?
Well, this is more inviting you whenever you see some Santa images. Yes, Saint Nicholas is part of the lore, and there are some who really prefer to have Santa dressed up as a Christian cleric And there's lots of wonderful, compassionate, and giving tales around St. Nicholas. But St. Nicholas is just part of the story. Santa Claus, the name Santa Claus is an abbreviation for St. Nicholas. But another name for Santa Claus is Old Nick, which actually I invite you to think of Santa not only having that Christian saint embodied within this Yuletide spirit, but the horned god of witches and pagans. In fact, Woden in some cultures, was said to have had and have an 8-legged horse called Sleipnir. And many of us speculate the reason that we have reindeer, 8 reindeer, and then of course Rudolph came around, so that added another one, actually has some of its roots amongst the old Northern European traditions of Odin. And so I want you to consider, as we connect with Yuletide spirits, whenever you see a Santa, yes, we can honor the Christian piece to Santa, but Santa actually is Saturn, a god of plenty amongst the Romans. Kronos, Father Time, actually shows up in the iconic depictions of New Year, and Santa as Father Christmas, as Holly King. Many different beings are all woven together in the Santa icon. In fact, these days, people are doing all sorts of Santa depictions. And knowing that we're at full moon time, the moon's going to be waning as we go to solstice. So you can think of Santa and the moon and his wizardly way. I really celebrate Santa in the many different forms. And there is a song that I enjoy, and I posted it to my Selena Fox Updates Facebook page, a link to Santa is Pagan Too by Emerald Rose. And Arthur Hines, one of the members of this beloved pagan band that's now part of pagan music history, still in touch with a number of the people who are part of the band. And the music continues to live on. He has put together a great image, a series of images of Santa across different cultures and time periods, even some old footage videos. So as you think about Santa Claus, remember, Santa is pagan too.
Thank you, Selena. This is a song that you might recognize. It was originally written by Richard B. Smith, but these lyrics were modified by Bunny Lou. Here to sing, I listening, altar set, candles glisten. It's a magical night we're having tonight, dancing in a Wiccan wonderland. Flames are high, incense smoking, God and goddess we're invoking. To elements five, we celebrate life, dancing in a Wiccan wonderland. In a circle we can build a Yule fire and await the rising of the sun. It's the great turning to the new year, loaded with abundance and great fun. Queen of Heaven is in her place, triple goddess, now the crowned sage. Above and below, she's the goddess we know, dancing in a Wiccan wonderland. Now the god is the provider, supplying game for our feast fire. Above and below, he's the horned one we know, dancing in a wicked wonderland. In a circle, we build a Yule fire and await the rising of the sun. It's the great turning to the new year, loaded with abundance and great fun. Woohoo! Later on by the fire, Krona power getting higher. It's a magical night we're having tonight, dancing in a wicked wonderland. It's a magical night we're having tonight, dancing in a wicked wonderland. Selena, would you please now give us a blessing healing?
Yuletide can be full of joy and connections, but it can be a tough time as well. And I invite you to spend a few moments calling to mind those you know who are in need of healing. If there are particular dimensions of your own life that you need healing for, I also invite you to reflect on them. And something that's been part of our many Yuletide events and traditions is to hold planet Earth in our thoughts and prayers, to do healing work for planet Earth, not only for better relations among humans with each other. Yes, we need peace, not war, but humans need to be in better relation with the rest of the biosphere. So, guiding us in a meditation time, healing for self, healing for others, healing for planet, is Chris and his flute.
Chris, you're muted.
Peace within us, peace around us, peace and well-being for ourselves, for others, for planet Earth, our home. At this Yuletide full moon, throughout this whole solstice season, and in times to come. So be it.
So be it. Laura, would you now please release our circle?
My pleasure. Thank you. I ask you once again to take some deep breaths. And as we go into the energy of healing and peace, we thank the elements for being present with us, gifting us their blessings, their energy, and their healing. To the water, to the fire, to the air, and to the earth, we now say farewell, so might it be. To the earth below us, to the cosmos above us, and to spirit within and without, we give thanks. Stay if you like, live if you must. And to all of us in cyberspace, merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again. Our circle is open, so might it be.
Thank you, Laura. And thank you for celebrating this Yuletide Spirits Full Moon Circle with us. Thank you for joining us this evening or for watching later. This evening has been brought to you by Circle Sanctuary's wonderful volunteers. Thank you all. Join us again next month on Thursday, January 5th for our Bafana Night Full Moon Circle. Chris, would you now please put up the membership and donations slide? Volunteers are a vital force in keeping Circle running, but we also need your donations for the upkeep of Circle Sanctuary land and its buildings, as well as our green cemetery. We want to keep the lights on, the doors open, and the roof over our temple room and resource shop in good shape. You can also become a member at whatever giving level is most comfortable for you in support of Circle Sanctuary's in-person and virtual festivals and rituals, as well as our informational website and a variety of weekly Circle Sanctuary Network podcasts, our CSNP podcasts. We have over 800 podcasts archived and available to you online. For more information, please visit our website, circlesanctuary.org, and join us by becoming a member or by making a donation today. Wishing you all a blessed Yuletide and a wonderful winter solstice. Merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again. And until we meet again, may Divine Spirit always be with you. So mote it be.